His party banished him because he was a useless healer, but no one knew that he was the strongest person in the world, which is why the entire Adventurers Guild was shocked when a girl offered him to join her party. Everyone, including Lost himself, stared at the blue-haired semi-lowly like they would at Michael Jackson and Kobe Bryant if they came back alive. The entire guild knew what the girl was getting into, and Lost asked her to repeat what she just said. She pointed out to the board in his hand that said he wants to join a party, and she is also looking for some party members herself. She introduces herself as Sina, a martial artist, and Lost tells her that he is a healer, for whatever it's worth. Just then, the guild receptionist Alma comes running there to stop Sina from making the biggest mistake of her life. She asks her if she doesn't know whom she is talking to. She tells Sina that Lost is known as the talentless loser in this guild, because even though he has been a healer for many years, the only spell he can cast is basic healing. He was an orphan who has been an adventurer ever since he started walking on his 2 feet, but still, he has made less progress than I have made with my crush. Alma says that despite everything, a party named Blades of Lightning took him in their party, but they could not carry his sorry ass forever, so they banished him. Everyone knows that even Sakura was much more useful than him, so no one takes him in their party. Lost just stands in his place and silently hears all this, and then Alma tells Sina that if a newcomer like him works with this loser, she won't be able to pay even her rent. Sina tells her that she is loaded and shows off her thick purse, but Alma pulls her to a corner and tells her to stop flaunting her money in the guild because the adventurers here are not all nice. Sina politely thanks her for this warning, and Alma is left dumbfounded. She can tell that Sina is a total noob and offers to introduce her to some good parties for beginners, but only in exchange for a decent commission. Sina quickly rejects her offer, saying that she had decided to form a party with Lost very long ago. She goes to Lost to convince him to join her party, and Alma wonders what she meant by long time ago. Soon after that, she slides the paperwork for registering a new party towards Sina and Lost, and the stupid girl doesn't even know what to do. Luckily, Lost knows how to fill out the paperwork and does it for her. Sina keeps staring at him with affection, recalling how he was the one who saved her from a monster attack in the past. His act of heroism was imprinted on her that day, and ever since then, she has been trying to find him. She is really happy that she has finally found him, but then Lost snaps her out of her dreams, asking if she can at least write her name in the form. Sina is startled, but proceeds to fill her details. After that, Alma asks for her commission, and Lost pays her some copper coins from his tiny purse. Alma declares that they are officially a party now, and Sina is really happy to hear that. She shakes hands with Lost to finalize the deal, and after that, they go to the city. Lost tells Sina about the dungeon in the city that has not yet been fully explored, and no one knows what kind of monster the dungeon master is. Because of the unexplored parts, many adventurers gather in the city of Mardast, and it has become rich and prosperous thanks to them. They get out of the city, and Sina asks Lost if it is too early for them to enter the dungeon because the receptionist earlier was lecturing him not to take the newbie to the dungeon so soon. Lost explains that because the magic energy of the dungeon leaks out, there are many parts around the city where monsters are found. On the different directions of the city, stronger monsters are found, but on the western side, there are weaker monsters. That is why it is suitable for newcomers, but since there are very few monsters there, it is not worth their time. Lost tells Sina that instead, they should go to the dungeon, because monsters literally jump at adventurers there, and as long as they don't go deeper, they won't find anything strong. They soon reach the entrance of the dungeon, and Sina immediately steps in front of Lost, saying that she will walk ahead of him since she is a martial artist and he is a healer. Lost has no choice but to agree to her, but he is worried if she can actually fight. His worries are proved baseless as Sina shows off her skills and makes quick work of the goblins. She proudly asks Lost what does he think of her now, and he admits that he is impressed. The goblin bodies disappear and leave behind magic stones. Lost picks up one of them and explains that selling these stones to the guild is the main source of income for most adventurers. The stones have magic in them and can be used for various things. This is the 101 of becoming an adventurer, but the dumb Sina doesn't even know that. Anyway, Lost tells her that goblin magic stones don't sell for much, and they need to hunt stronger monsters to earn more. He thinks that these stones should be enough to cover today's expenses, but asks Sina if she wants to go deeper, and she agrees without hesitation. As they keep walking, Lost suddenly pulls her back because she was about to step on a trap. Sina is amazed and asks Lost how did he notice it. He replies that he noticed that the color of the tile was a little different than others. They cross the trap area by clinging to the wall, and then Sina says that locating traps is a thief's job, and Lost tells her that he has picked a bunch of useful skills by being an adventurer for a long time. After a while, they suddenly run into an orc, and Lost says that a mid-level monster should not be found here. They watch the orc from a safe distance, and Lost explains that orcs are quite strong, so they are quite dangerous for beginners. Sina asks if they should retreat, but he believes that together they can defeat the orc. He tells Sina that he won't try to force her, but she is ready to do anything together with him. They go in front of the orc, and Sina immediately charges towards it. She jumps high to deliver a powerful kick to him, but the orc is unfazed. However, the orc moves quite slow, giving her enough time to dodge its counter. Even then, she gets struck by a stray rock, and that gives the orc a chance to attack her once again, but the orc's blow never reaches her. When she opens her eyes again, she sees Lost standing in front of her, and the orc already starting to disintegrate because of his deadly attack. She is left speechless by this, and asks Lost if he is really a healer, and he gives the same old answer that he learned a lot after his years of being an adventurer. He then suddenly notices Sina's injury, and while she tells him that it's just a scratch, he insists on healing it properly. He uses basic healing spell on it. That takes too long even to heal such a small scratch. After that, they pick up the orc's magic stone that is worth a lot. Lost says that they have earned enough money and shown their skills too, so they should head back, but Sina wants to do even deeper. They explore the dungeon some more and then return to the guild, where Amma is taken aback to see so many magic stones. When she notices the orc's magic stone, she lashes at Lost, asking if he took Sina to the middle floors. He explains that they found an orc near the top, and Sina confirms what he just said. She says that she wanted to go even deeper, but Lost told her that it would not be safe for her, so they retreated. Amma believes Sina's words because she has heard other reports of strong monsters being found on the surface. She believes that something must be going on inside the dungeon, but she can't say for sure. She then asks if they want to sell the magic stones, and Lost affirms. Amma is really happy as she prepares their money, and Lost tells the confused Sina that the guild employees get a commission based on the sales made by the adventurers they manage. Soon, Amma presents a lot of money to them, and Lost is shocked because he didn't even earn 1/10 of it in his previous party for the same work. It finally dawns on him that he has been played like a fiddle by his previous party that scammed him of his hard-earned money. Amma always knew this, but she is not exactly a champion of justice. Sina says that it is too mean and the guild should step in, and Amma replies that they will solve the case for a good fee. However, Lost doesn't want to bother with it because he has already joined a new party and moved on from his past. They leave the guild with that and go straight to an inn, where a green-haired girl greets him. She doesn't seem impressed by Sina because the entire town has already heard about the talentless loser forming a party. She asks Lost if he is here to eat, but he says that before that, he needs to reserve rooms for themselves. The girl leads them back door to talk to her mom, who asks Lost if they need separate rooms or a shared one. Sina begins to let her fantasy run wild about sharing a bed with Lost, but he opts for separate rooms, disappointing her. Once inside her room, Sina begins to remember the day Lost saved her, when she was a blonde. He healed her minor injuries, and Sina told him that when she grows up, she will become an adventurer and form a party with him. Ever since that day, she has been training hard to become a strong adventurer. She knows that it is obvious that after so many changes in her appearance, Lost wouldn't know who she was, but she still feels hurt. She thinks that he has grown much stronger than their last meeting, and he doesn't need her help anymore. She shakes off these negative feelings and swears that no matter what, she is going to stick by Lost's side and protect him. However, she wonders why do the people of this city call him talentless when he is so strong. At night, Lost has a dream about the day he was kicked out of his former party, Lightning Blade. They had taken a mission to hunt a powerful monster, but one of their main damage dealers got injured and was infected with poison as well. While the swordsman tried to hold off against the monster, Lost used his basic healing spell on the purple-haired bitch. The douchebag swordsman told them to stop bickering and rejoin the fight. He told Lost to hurry up and heal the girl, and Lost replied that he had asked him to prepare antidotes to avoid such a situation beforehand. The swordsman told him that antidotes are too expensive, and it is his fault that he can't use any purification spells despite being a healer. The Hydra monster began pushing him back, so he asked the timid magician to shoot some spells at it. The magician did as she was told, but her fireball did 0 damage, and she gave in to fear. She dropped her staff and began trembling, so the blonde asshole decided that this mission was impossible. He turned his back on his friends and ran away, telling them that they should run too if they value their lives. The timid magician also ran away screaming, and Lost had to support the purple bitch as they followed them. The next day, the swordsman told Lost that he was fired from their party because he was a total waste of oxygen and they would do better without him. Lost was shocked to hear this, but both the swordsman and the purple girl told him that it was his fault that they failed the previous mission. Lost told them that they failed because the two of them had fun the entire night before the mission and they were not in their peak shape. They told him to stop trying to gaslight them to hide his own weakness and even forced the magician into blaming Lost. As Lost wakes up from the dream, he thinks that he had convinced himself that he didn't care about being kicked from the party. He then recalls that something even worse happened 6 years ago, when he was already gaining fame as the incompetent healer. A party approached him, and he was so eager to become a real adventurer that he joined them without asking any questions. However, those bastards just pushed him in front of dangerous monsters because they needed Lost to be bait. As he tried to run and dodge the monsters, the bastards began sneaking away, but the monsters noticed them. Karma is a bitch, and she came back to bite them in the worst possible way, with the monsters ending their lives. Lost was horrified by this, and he somehow managed to make it out of the dungeon. He was thinking about giving up on being an adventurer when he saw a carriage under attack by goblins. The only survivor was the young Sina, and without wasting a second, Lost charged ahead to save her. He was ready to sacrifice his life to save her, but then someone hit him from behind and he passed out. When he woke up, he found Sina looking at him. Luckily, some knights on patrol duty had found them and gotten rid of all the goblins, and Lost realized that he couldn't do much to save the girl. He felt lost and useless, but she thanked him because he bought enough time for the knights to arrive there. She soon left with the knights, and Lost realized that she was from a noble family, so it was impossible for her to become an adventurer. However, her words encouraged him not to give up on being an adventurer, and he continued working hard. He met some mentors who told him to compensate for being a poor healer by picking up other skills. When he thought he was ready to work again, he joined the party Lightning Blade, but was kicked out after being humiliated in front of the entire guild. Lost begins thinking about the girl he saved again and thinks that if she hadn't encouraged him that day, he would have never met Sina, not realizing that they are the same person. Just then, Sina comes to his room to invite him for breakfast, and Lost gladly joins her. After that, they head to the dungeon again, and this time, they go deeper and find a floor with a teleportation circle. Lost tells Sina that the teleportation circle was placed here by a legendary magician hundreds of years ago. It can take them to various places within the dungeon where similar teleportation circles are present, but unfortunately, the skill of making them is lost to time, and no new teleportation circles can be created. After the lecture, Lost shows Sina how to use the teleportation circle and transports them to another room in the middle floors of the dungeon. Lost says that there are dangerous monsters here, so they should be more careful. Soon, they come face to face with some skeleton monsters, and Sina attacks their leader, only to pass right through it. Lost defeats the monsters on his side and then comes to warn her that this is a lick, a monster that doesn't have a real body, so physical attacks don't damage it. He tells her that they should retreat for now because they can't defeat it, but Sina says that she has a technique that can beat the lick. Lost realizes that she is talking about Kai, the spiritual energy which expert martial artists can manipulate and use as a weapon. He taunts and lures the lick after him, while Sina waits for her chance behind a pillar, gathering her Kai around her fist. Just as the lick passes her by, she comes out of hiding and hits it with her Kai-powered punch, immediately destroying it. Later, they return to the Adventurer Guild and present their loot to the receptionist Amma, who is delighted to see the magic stone from a lick because it is quite expensive. As Lost and Sina head to the inn to rest for the night, they find two adventurers arguing with each other in the middle of the road. Lost complains that it seems like all the problematic adventurers are coming to this city, and Sina can see that he is right. Lost is not happy that these people are ruining the vibe of the city, but decides to forget about them and have a nice meal to celebrate their success. As they sit down to eat, Sina asks Lost about the huge pillar in the middle of the city. She asks if it is a monument, but he tells her that he has no idea. He is also curious about the purpose of the pillar, But when he asked the craftsman about it, they couldn't tell him anything. They only got the blueprint and the money from an agent and have not even seen the real client. Lost has only heard that there is a whole chain of agents to keep the identity of the real client a secret, and he thinks that it is something fishy. He says that instead of wasting time and money on building such useless things, they could build a city wall to keep everyone safe from dangers. Sina says that a wall is not necessary because this city is full of adventurers who can protect the people when it counts. After that, they head to their rooms, and Sina wants to tell Lost that she wants to come over for some Netflix and chill, but she can't bring herself to say it. As she plops on her bed, she begins fidgeting because she missed the chance to slide into his pants yet again. On the other hand, Lost is thinking that it is nice to form a party with someone who values him, and he begins wondering if he will ever get to see the noble girl he saved again. Meanwhile, Lost's former party leader has found a new healer for their group. He introduces the pretty girl named Lyra to his party members, but they are not really happy about another girl joining their group. This irritates Lyra, but the blonde swordsman thinks that with a capable healer in their group, they will certainly be able to take down the Hydra this time. Later that day, the party goes to fight the same old Hydra. They check on it from behind a tree, and the blonde idiot verifies that it has not yet healed from the injuries it got during their previous fight, and one of its heads has not yet regenerated. He tells Lyra to join him at the front lines while the magician girl will support them from behind. Meanwhile, the purple-haired rogue bitch is going to sneak behind the monster and deal critical hits when it is not looking towards her. He rushes ahead, but Lyra stops him and says that she can't fight on the front lines because she is a healer. Blondie asks what she is talking about because Lost used to do it all the time. Lyra lashes at him, asking if he was really forcing a healer into close combat. Blondie doesn't even get what he did wrong and says that Lost was only good at close combat anyway. He used to run around like crazy, but sometimes he used to land solid hits on the enemies. The purple bitch says that he was the one who cut off the Hydra's head, and Lyra is shocked. Anyway, Blondie tells her to stay back if she can't fight, but asks her if she can at least use antidote spells. Lyra confirms that she can, and Blondie is confident that they will be able to defeat the monster today. On the other hand, Lost and Sina also visit the guild at the end of the day to submit their haul. They have brought more magic stones, and while Amma is glad about the money flow, she also tells Lost to be more careful as they always seem to head to the middle floors. Lost replies that since they are only a two-man team, they take extra caution. Amma tells him that if he gets more members, the party will be able to perform even better. She suggests they get a warrior or a magician because that would give them more options, and they will make even more money. Lost begins to consider her advice seriously, and Sina is worried that they won't be alone anymore. However, Lost says that they are fine right now, relieving her of her worries. Amma says that is fine too because they are already earning well. She tells Lost that at this rate they can even rent a house, and Sina wants to know more about it. Lost tells her that the parties who have money can rent a house as their base. Amma adds that they can store as much equipment they want there, and it is cheaper compared to staying at inns in the long term. On top of that, when there are people from opposite genders in the party, the private base can be used for daily lovemaking sessions without any interruption. Sina turns red as she begins to imagine Lost doing wild things to her, but Amma snaps her out of it, saying that it doesn't seem likely looking at them. Sina gets mad at her, but Lost begins thinking that his old party had also hired a private house, but he was placed in a room that was worse than even Harry Potter's. Amma pities him for being mistreated to this extent and then tells him that it was a good thing that he got kicked out of the party because it is not doing well right now. At the base of the Lighting Blade party, everyone is seriously injured, and Blondie is throwing a tantrum that they failed to beat the Hydra once again. Lyra is healing the magician who has taken severe injuries, and she tells Blondie that they lost because he charged head-on towards the Hydra despite being weak. He yells at her, but she tells him to shut the hell up because she needs to focus. She finishes casting the antidote spell on the magician, while Blondie and Purple come to the conclusion that their team has become weaker ever since Lost left it. They think that he was a good tool who got his job done and didn't even notice when they shorted his payment. Blondie curses him for leaving the party, and Purple reminds this amnesic asshole that he was the one who kicked him out. Blondie is surprised to hear that, but he thinks that the problem can be solved easily by going to Lost and calling him back. Even Purple can't bear with his shit anymore and asks if he really thinks his method will work. But Blondie is confident that Lost won't be able to refuse joining the famous Lightning Blade party. The next morning, the magician recovers from her injuries and wakes up to find Lyra sleeping on the chair by the bedside. As she wakes up, she asks the magician if she is feeling fine and decides to bring some food for her. However, as she goes to the kitchen, she is surprised to find that Purple is not there, and even Blondie is missing. They are at the Adventurers Guild, where Blondie arrogantly tells Lost that he is here to give him the greatest honor of his life by letting him back into the Lightning Blade party. The entire guild is stunned to hear this, but Lost needs to confirm if he heard the right thing just now. While Blondie tells Lost that he is going to let him back in the party, Amma and Sina also come there. Amma tells Sina about Blondie being the guy who kicked Lost from the party, and she is not happy. Meanwhile, Blondie tells Lost that he understands that a loser like him would get cold feet because he can't keep up with the top-class adventurers. However, he says that he will protect him and others in their party. Lost tries to stop him from yapping, but Blondie begins talking about payment issues. He tells Lost that there were some slight miscalculations the last time, but he will be more careful about them from now on. He clings to him, saying that the new healer they got is a useless one, and they want him to replace her. Purple is disappointed with the party leader, and she thinks that he is going to be rejected, but then Lost thanks Blondie, shocking her. Sina is also aghast, as she thinks that Lost is going to return to the party, so she runs in front of him and tells Blondie to back off. She clearly tells him that no matter what he says, Lost is not going to join him because he is already in a party. Blondie is confident that Lost will ditch her and asks her to ask the guy himself. Lost tells Sina to not worry about anything, and then tells Blondie that he thanked him just to be polite, but he has no intention of leaving his current party with Sina. Blondie freaks out on hearing this and tells him to reconsider things, and then starts blaming Sina for this. He tells Lost that this girl is definitely using him because she has learned that he is not as useless as everyone says. He says that she must definitely be scamming him out of his money, and the guild must be in on it too. However, Lost grabs his hand and tells him to keep his girl's name out of his mouth. He says that he has no grudges against Blondie and his party, but if they try to harm his partner, he will never forget them. He leaves with that, and Sina follows after teasing Blondie. Frustrated, he runs to Amma and tells her to refer him to a new adventurer who is strong enough to fight alongside him. Amma doesn't even want to deal with him anymore, but Blondie is determined to find another party member and defeat the Hydra at all costs. Just then, a tall, silver-haired masked knight comes there and asks Blondie if he can join his team. Blondie inspects him from all angles and then decides to test his skill right away. Amma tries to stop him, saying that fighting among adventurers is not allowed, but he tells her to get away because this is just practice. He charges at the masked knight, who swiftly draws his sword and disarms him. Blondie feels embarrassed after being humiliated in front of everyone, but he decides to get the masked guy into his team. Purple asks him if he can trust a man who doesn't show his face, and he replies that they have no other choice. If rumors spread out that their party keeps failing to defeat a Hydra, their reputation will sink. He asks the masked man his name, and he tells him that it is Seg. Later, as Sina is getting ready, she hears someone knocking at Lost's door. She finds that it is the innkeeper's daughter, who has come to tell Lost about a guest who wants to see him. She tells Sina to join him too, and they go downstairs to find Lyra and the magician Armia. Armia apologizes for coming to see him so suddenly, even after what happened in the past, and then says that she wants him to help their party just one time. Lost asks her to elaborate, and she explains that Blondie is stuck up on beating the Hydra. Despite a tragic failure last time, he refuses to learn his lesson and doesn't even buy the antidotes to help them. He has hired a new warrior to help him and is planning to challenge the Hydra again. Lost tells them that maybe the new guy is good enough, but Lyra says that they can't be too optimistic because if things turn out bad, someone could die. That is why Armia wants Lost to come back and help them. Lost tells her that he already refused Blondie this morning, and then Sina asks Armia why she wants to help that asshole so badly. Armia says that it is true that Blondie has many flaws, but despite everything, he is her party member, and she doesn't want him to die. Sina snaps at this and asks Armia if Lost was not her party member then. She asks if she didn't know that he was being robbed of his money and that it was unfair to kick him out. Armia begins crying as she apologizes, saying that she didn't want to do it either, but she was afraid that if she didn't blame him, she would be the one kicked out. She begins crying and says that she hasn't been an adventurer for long, so she didn't even know that she was doing the wrong thing, and asks Lost to forgive her. Lyra speaks up for her, saying that Armia has been apologizing to him even in her sleep, and asks him to at least accept her apology. Lost approaches Armia and tells her that he has no grudges against her or the party, and she gets really happy. However, he tells her that he is not going to join the party again, breaking her heart. As Armia is about to sink into despair, the innkeeper comes there with some food and begins body-shaming Armia to get her to eat everything. Meanwhile, Lost, Sina, and Lyra talk about the party's condition. Sina asks Lyra if she can get Armia to leave Lightning Blade with her, but she believes that it is not possible. Seeing how concerned Lyra is about Armia, Lost recalls how Blondie called her a useless woman earlier. He warns her about it and says that at least she should leave the party. Lyra has no intention of leaving Armia in such a horrible place on her own, and Lost is worried about both of them now. Later, the two girls return back to their party, and Lyra is shocked to see Seg. She knows him and realizes that he has given Blondie a fake identity. She corners him, asking what the hell is he doing here, and Seg tries to feign ignorance. She asks if he did something bad on another job and is here to hide, but he tells her that she must be mistaking him for someone else. Lyra catches him off guard by asking if he stole the sword from the adventurer named Ronaldo, and the flustered Seg tells her that it is a gift from Ronaldo, who is his mentor. He immediately tries to cover up, but Lyra decides not to poke her nose in his business anymore. Soon, their party heads out to face the Hydra once again, and at the same time, Lost and Sina are going to the dungeon. However, Lost can't get the crying face of Armia out of his mind and keeps staring in her direction. Anyway, Lost and Sina enter the dungeon, and Sina shows off her martial art moves as she kills some donkey-pig hybrid monsters with one punch. One of the monsters attacks her from behind, but she swiftly twirls to dodge its attack and then knocks it out with a strong kick to its head. She is proud and Lost gives her a thumbs up as well, but just then, another monster sneaks behind her. Sina notices it in time and defeats it with a precise back kick. She boasts about her strength, saying that she can do this all day, but apparently her stomach can't. It begins growling and Lost laughs, telling the embarrassed girl that they should have lunch now. They sit down in a quiet corner to eat, and Lost is taken aback by the quantity of food. He asks if this family-sized meal is just for the two of them, and Sina explains that the innkeeper lady gave it to her because Armia couldn't finish it. As they begin eating, Lost tells Sina about the Hydra, which is a powerful monster with thick muscles and sturdy scales that bounce back basic magic and physical attacks. Sina freaks out and wonders if Armia will be safe, but Lost tells her that since the Hydra is a relatively common monster, a lot is known about how to fight it. Its poison is lethal, but the antidote can be purchased from the market. Sina replies that Lyra told them that Blondie didn't purchase the antidote because it was too expensive, and Lost tells her that Lyra will handle that with her detoxifying magic. He asks Sina not to worry too much, because the Lightning Blade party isn't half bad. He says that despite being an asshole, Blondie is a decent swordsman, and Purple is quite agile and stealthy as well. Sina gets jealous on hearing Lost praise his old party, but she doesn't say it out loud. However, as they resume the dungeon exploration, she tells Lost that she has grown bored of exploring the same floors on the dungeon every day, so they should head out to the swamps where the Hydra is found for a change. In the swamps, Lightning Blade is fighting the Hydra. Blondie injures it, and then Seg charges ahead to finish the job. However, he only deals a deep wound to the Hydra and doesn't slash the head. Blondie asks why the hell did he chicken out, but Seg strokes his ego, asking if he is going to let someone else take the glory of defeating the Hydra. That was all Blondie needed to forget the plan and charge straight at the Hydra, but that backfires as the monster tackles him. Lyra complains about it to Purple, who is receiving treatment from her. Purple says that Blondie never had any brains to begin with, so the only strategy he knows is charging head first towards the enemy. She then tells Lyra that her shoulder has been healed enough and rushes towards the Hydra. Lyra is low-key disappointed by how this party runs. Seg can't be fully trusted, and Blondie is an idiot. However, she sees that the Hydra is tired, and their attacks are working. Even Armia is spamming fireballs, and Lyra thinks that they will win at this rate. Suddenly, the Hydra flicks a rock towards Armia, knocking her down, and as it approaches her, she gets overwhelmed by fear. Suddenly, a black smoke begins releasing from her body, and Seg identifies it as fear that monsters use to grow stronger. Lyra believes that it is something else because naturally people can't see fear. But as she touches the black smoke that is flying towards the Hydra from all directions, she realizes that it is mana. She tells everyone that monsters can mutate after absorbing mana, and the same happens with the Hydra. It evolves into a more powerful version, and even its severed heads grow back. Seg knows the true danger of facing a monster this powerful, so he says that they should retreat. But Blondie is still hooked on the glory he will get after killing the Hydra. He attacks it, but his sword snaps in two on hitting the Hydra's scales. He is completely defenseless as the Hydra attacks him. But then, out of nowhere, Lost arrives there and parries the attack. Seg tells Lost to go and help Armia while he deals with the monster here. Lost agrees and goes to Lyra, who is trying to help Armia, but that is hard because magicians are resistant to magic and healing spells don't work too well on them either. Lost takes up the task and begins spamming the basic healing spell. Lyra is perplexed and asks what the hell is he doing, and his former party members tell her that he is overlapping the healing spells because that is how he healed them in the past. Lyra says that it is not possible because it's like drinking a bottle of cough syrup and hoping that the coughing is cured instantly. However, Lost makes this seemingly impossible method work, and Armia wakes up before immediately going back to sleep. On the other hand, the Hydra has not attacked Seg at all because it seems to be waiting for Lost, who cut off its two heads earlier. Cena volunteers to help, and so does Seg, but he tells the rest of the people to step back. Cena attacks the Hydra's head, and then Lost slashes it to create a weak spot. After that, Seg charges ahead with his magic sword and slices the Hydra's head with one swing of his blade. As the fight continues, the Hydra takes Cena by surprise and knocks her out. It keeps her as a hostage to challenge Lost to a one-on-one fight, because after evolution, it has grown more intelligent and evil. Lost takes up the monster's challenge, only to get humbled within seconds. He gets seriously injured and falls to the ground, losing his consciousness as he tries to reach Cena. However, he suddenly wakes up again, his body overflowing with magic. Everyone is taken aback on seeing Lost as he looks like he has been possessed by a demon. A horn protrudes from his forehead, and he cuts all the heads of the Hydra in a single move, easily defeating it. Everyone is stunned to see this, but then Lost suddenly returns to normal and collapses. He wakes up later with Cena by his side, who tells him that Lyra healed him with the only antidote she had bought. Lyra tells him that he is going to pay her for it later, and he only thanks her. Armia is still unconscious even though she is out of danger, and Lost is relieved. Lyra and Seg have questions about the power Lost just displayed. But before they can say anything, Blondie and Purple begin praising Lost, saying that he is really amazing. They say that with him in their team they can clear the lowest floor of the dungeon, and they don't even give him a chance to refuse as they offer to split the money from this mission evenly between the three of them. Blondie and Purple say that the two newcomers didn't do much so they don't get a cut, and ask Lost to keep his sidekick satisfied somehow. He asks them about Armia's share, and they say that she is no longer of any use, so they don't consider her a member of their party anymore. They go as far as saying that maybe they should sell her to some rich pervert, and the very next moment, Cena deals a solid punch to Blondie's face. He freaks out and says that he will complain to the guild because attacking other adventurers is banned, and he has witnesses. Seg and Lyra say that they didn't see a thing, but Purple says that she did, and she will testify in the guild. Seg decides to shut both the assholes down in one go, and tells them that he heard them talking about selling Armia to some rich perverted noble, and that is a very serious crime. He says that they are under arrest with immediate effect, and everyone learns the truth only when they get back to the guild. Seg is actually a high-ranking adventurer who works at the guild headquarters in the capital. Everyone is shocked to hear this, and Seg takes off his pitiful mask as he explains that it is the duty of elite adventurers to maintain law and order among others. He had heard that things in this city were pretty bad because of some ill-behaved adventurers, so he came here for an undercover investigation, and met some of the nasty adventurers right off the bat. Lyra asks what is going to happen to Blondie and Purple now, and the receptionist Amma says that since they were trying to do a very serious crime, they will be expelled from the Adventurers Guild and possibly be thrown in jail for life. They freak out on hearing this and tell Seg that they were just talking, and since they haven't done anything, they should be let free. They even offer to pay him, but he doesn't pay them any attention. Suddenly, Lost asks to talk in private with Seg. They go outside, where Lost requests Seg to let Purple and Blondie go this time. Seg asks him why should he do that, and Lost says that he believes that deep down, Purple and Blondie are not that people. He says that they must have had high ambitions to become famous adventurers, but along the line, they began focusing more on money and fame without following the proper path. That is why he wants to give them a second chance so that they can continue to be adventurers and atone for their mistakes. Saig decides to accept his request and frees the two culprits, but tells them to get as far away from this town as possible, because if he finds them again, they are going to prison. They run away, and then Amma asks Saig if it is right to let them go. He replies that firing them from the guild may not make them better people, but if they can monitor them, there is still hope. For that purpose, he decides to stay in the town for some time. Meanwhile, Lost thanks Sina for taking him to the swamps that allowed him to save his former party members, and even though they have been exiled from the town now, he feels better after getting closure. Later that night, Saig tells Lyra that his real mission here is to investigate the growing number of mutating monsters in this area, and he suspects the guild branch's chief to be behind it. He asks Lyra to form a party with him like the old times, and she says that she will only do so if he lets Armia join them as well, because she can't just abandon her. Saig agrees to her request, and then says that he can do with another ally because he plans to keep an eye on Lost and his strange power as well. Soon, Saig and his party meet Lost and Sina over brunch. Lost is surprised to hear that they formed a party with just 3 people and asks Armia if she is fine with joining their party. She timidly replies that she has nowhere else to go and Saig and Lyra saved her life, so she owes them a lot. Lost and Saig assure him that they told her that it was not something to beat herself over, but Armia still chose them, and Lost is glad to hear that. After that, Sina and Lost head out to the guild early in the morning because they forgot to cash in the Hydra's magic stone last evening. He has another reason, and that concerns Sina's future. He tells her that she should pick up a designated quest today because hunting monsters won't get her too far as an adventurer. He tells her about how the quests can be hunting monsters, collecting rare ingredients, or escorting rich people who pay a lot of money. Sina is moved that Lost is thinking so much about her much, and when he asks her if something is wrong, she turns red out of embarrassment. They reach the guild soon, where everyone gazes them with distrust and suspicion. Apparently, the rumors of Lost defeating the Hydra have reached everyone, and no one can believe that it is true. He immediately pulls Sina to a corner and tells her to be more careful now, because many bad people will try to steal the Hydra magic stones from them. Just as he finishes saying that, an adventurer named Marnell comes there and tells Lost that he has something to talk about with him. Lost is on his guard and asks if they really have to talk right now, and the idiot thinks that he is nervous because of his lackeys. So he sends them away. Lost and Sina don't know what to make of it, but they think that Marnell is not after their magic stones. Marnell turns towards Lost and immediately apologizes to him, taking him by surprise. Lost wonders what the hell is wrong with him, and then Marnell says that he is apologizing about Blondie's actions. He says that all the adventurers in the town knew what a scumbag and asshole Blondie was, but no one warned Lost about it. Marnell says that he tried to convince himself that it was none of his business, and moreover, he did not want to make enemies with Blondie. He apologizes for not helping Lost when he should have, and not doing anything about the people who mocked him for being incompetent. Suddenly, Sina comes between them and tells Marnell that he won't be forgiven so easily. He asks her what should he do to earn Lost's apology, and she tells him to kneel before him for 3 days straight, especially when he is naked. Marnell and the other adventurers freak out on hearing the kinky punishments that this blue-haired lowly has thought for them, but Lost asks her to stop because he doesn't want to share a prison cell with Diddy. He says that he doesn't want to dig up the past, and then adds that even after defeating the Hydra, he is still incompetent as a healer. He stretches his hand towards Marnell so that they can be on better terms from now on, and the veteran adventurer gladly shakes it. He tells Lost to contact him if he ever needs help, and then goes back to his party. After that, Lost and Sina head to the receptionist's desk to hand over the Hydra's magic stone, and Amma practically drools as she sees the magic stone that is enough to turn them all into millionaires. She says that the Hydra's difficulty level was already high, and since it mutated, the price of its magic stone increased by a lot. However, that is also a warning that a disaster may soon occur. Sina doesn't understand why both Amma and Lost look so serious while talking about the mutation, and they explain to her that monsters require a tremendous amount of mana to mutate. Usually that happens in the deeper floors of the dungeon, but if it happened on the surface, then it means that an unnatural amount of mana is leaking from the dungeon. Amma says that many other adventurers have reported such issues as well, and things might get dangerous soon. Sina asks if the guild can't do anything like sending a team to investigate the matter, when suddenly, Amma's superior Han arrives there. She freaks out as she hears his voice and tells her that her adventurers had a suggestion. Han tells her that he will hear them out directly and calls them to his office. He receives the report about the Hydra's mutation and high-level monsters being found on top floors of the dungeon, and says that things like this have happened before, so they are not exactly unusual. He says that the guild doesn't have enough time or resources to deploy investigation teams anytime things like this happen. Lost tries convincing him that the guild should ensure the safety of its adventurers, but Han tells him that the adventurers knew the risks when they got into this line of work, and those like Lost, who are afraid of monsters, should leave the town immediately. Once they come out of the office, Sina vents out all the frustration she got from spending 5 minutes with Han. She asks who the hell is he to tell Lost to leave the town, and Amma tells her that he is the highest acting authority in the guild. The guild leader is really old and stays in his room all day, and being his left nut, Han is the one who oversees everything. Lost changes the topic and asks Amma to give some quests to Sina. She shows them all the quest requests they have, and Sina starts complaining because most of them aren't even real work. Amma flicks her forehead, telling her that as long as it makes money, she shouldn't care about the type of the job. Lost soon finds a quest to hunt down a phoenix near the teleportation circles in the dungeon, and Sina eagerly says that they will take it. Amma advises her to stop thinking about it because with just a healer and a martial artist, they won't be able to take down a flying enemy. Lost and Sina immediately think of asking Saig's party for help and immediately reach their base. Saig and Lyra agree, but Armia thinks that Lost will not like to be in the same party with her after all that she has done to him. Lost tells her not to think too much about it because he has forgiven her already. Everyone is on the same page now, and while Saig goes to the guild to handle the paperwork, others go to the market to buy some supplies. Lost tells Sina that they need to buy some potions to take care of the burns they receive from fighting the Phoenix. She says that he is really knowledgeable in all fields, but that suddenly makes her feel incompetent. She begins zoning out in the middle of the road, when suddenly, a girl comes from behind and gropes her. Sina frees herself and throws a punch at her, but the redhead does some acrobatics and dodges her attack. Sina is taken aback when she realizes that the person she thought of as a lesbian molester was actually Ralma, a veteran adventurer who is her dad's friend. She realizes that her dad sent the redhead mommy after her because he was worried about his daughter who ran away from the house. Just then, Lost comes there and both he and Ralma are shocked to see each other because they know each other well. Lost greets her as his master, and Sina is perplexed by what is happening. They go to a restaurant, where Lost explains that he received training from Ralma for a short period of time. Sina also tells him that her father and Ralma are friends, and he sent her here to check on her. Ralma then tells Lost to leave them alone because she has some private things to talk with Sina, but he refuses, saying that he is Sina's party member, so he should get to know everything. Also, he thinks that Ralma may try to take Sina back with her using force, and he won't let her. Ralma takes that as a challenge and asks if he thinks he can stop her. She shoots a small fireball at him, but he dodges it with his ultra instinct. Ralma is improved by Lost's improvement and allows him to stay. She then asks Sina why she ran from her home, and she says that she didn't run away. She claims that she was in a hurry so she couldn't say goodbye to her parents, but she left a letter telling them that she was going to find Lost. Both Lost and Ralma are dumbfounded on hearing that, and then Ralma asks her the reason. Sina suddenly goes silent and hides her face, because she doesn't want to tell Lost that she had her men spying on him, and when she learned that he was kicked from his party, she rushed to him immediately. Lost tells her that she should go back home and talk things out with her dad, but she is worried that he won't allow her to return to his side. She is in tears, so Ralma tells her that her dad is not opposed to her being an adventurer, but he was just worried about her leaving home so suddenly. She assures Sina that she will talk to her dad and explain that she is in safe hands with Lost. She then suddenly sends Lost to fetch some drinks while she pokes Sina about her relationship with Lost. Sina begins talking about how great Lost is, and then suddenly starts crying, thinking that she is a burden to him. Ralma tells her that she has definitely had a positive impact on him, because earlier, he would not have dared to talk back to her in any case. She tells Sina that she changed him for good, and she should spend more time with him. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel and watch this next video on your screen.